Hi, I'm Brian Willett from Cashflow Financial. We're of the belief that we'll be coming into some tougher economic times, and this is a little video to try and help people get their head around how they might maneuver through this particular period. We've already seen the major banks announce that we're going to have a pullback in housing prices, and on top of this, we have AI and the impact of that. And given the potential for unemployment to be over 10% if you listen to some of these people in the AI industry, then it's really time to take note and be careful as to what we're doing. Our wealth manager, Rob, he provides us with three different stages that we're going through in terms of the economy. Stage one, stagflation, we're currently in that, and as you can see, the Iran conflict, the potential pressure on prices, etc., interest rates that have increased. Then the next step is when AI really starts to kick in. And we don't particularly know, there's a range of times shown there. But once AI starts to take jobs, it's already been noted that it is smarter than the average human. And because of that, it can take place of many of the menial type jobs. Moving forward, it will take more and more jobs. So as we see unemployment rise, we'll start to see that there's a pullback in house prices, there's a pullback in the stock market, there's a pullback in general spending, and unemployment will continue to rise. And then unemployment leads to more unemployment as people spend less. So ultimately, we're going to get to a stage where the government sees that there's a problem and starts putting some stimulus packages in place. And when they do that, that generally is inflationary, pumping money into the economy, printing money, as they say. So we will start to see prices start to go up, and we'll actually see things also in the property industry increase once we get a bit more confidence. Very briefly, Rob's business, wealth management, and there is a video attached which basically goes into the benefits of having a very nimble, small wealth manager rather than your money pooled with many, many other people. Okay, likely things in the building industry. There was one builder recently told me they've got plenty of tenders, quotes out, but people are not committing. And that hesitancy just happens when people start to lose confidence. Second stage, we're going to see jobs less certain, and we will very, very likely to see property prices falling. Stage three is inflationary, and we'll see house prices increase, but this is only going to happen once we believe it's self-sustaining and it's not just government stimulation. Quick graph here shows how that we are aligning the New Zealand consumption with house prices. It happens everywhere in the world. This was just the clearest graph I could see as to how closely they track. Here, unemployment to house prices, we can see that the higher the unemployment, the lower the house prices. So we have confidence, unemployment will both have big impacts on house prices. So the actions for each stage. In stage one, being in a building industry, you need your builder's warranty. So not only may you have a pullback in work, you also have that risk, that potential to lose your warranty insurance. So I would suggest that you go and maximise your facility for borrowing while you have nice solid 25 or 26 financials, and get that facility in place to support you and the business through the lean times. Have a look at potentially cutting some overheads and keeping the business as lean as possible. And thirdly, potentially look into some sort of a niche. If there's any areas that you work in that you're better at, you might be able to do that niche marketing and get yourself a bit of a premium price. Just a quick plug for Michael Mankin. He's the mortgage broker we tend to align with, and should you wish to increase your house borrowing, I strongly recommend you have a chat with Michael and see what he and his team can do for you. Okay, stage two. I'm imagining at this point in time that developments are slowing down. new house builds are slowing down, renovations are slowing down. So as a builder, if you have the capacity, I'd strongly suggest going out and looking to see whether you can buy a property of some sort and do some work on it. One, to keep yourself busy, but two, also when the things recover, then you can actually make a little bit of money on that property. Otherwise, if things are quiet, it's going to be pretty hard for you to stimulate things rather than compete with others by lowering prices. Supply demand. Every time people talk about housing prices can't fall because demand is so strong. Well, yes, immigration has supported demand, but maybe that immigration may not be as big in future years just because of potential government restricting the amount of people coming in if we already have high employment. Short term, we will see that if people lose jobs, there's more people going to put their properties on the market, can't afford the mortgage, have to sell. In terms of demand, there's more people worried about losing jobs, so therefore demand will shrink, supply will increase. We see a falling back in prices. As those prices decrease, those that are heavily geared may actually opt also to try and sell before we get too far down the track. So potentially you can see house prices falling and cycling down a little bit before any level of recovery. We are currently in the biggest housing bubble the world has ever seen, and that is comparing the average house prices in Australia versus the average income in Australia. It's never been so high anywhere. Japan was the closest previously, and that went through many, many years of declining house prices. So short term, it can happen. Anybody who's familiar with country towns will know that in recessions in the past, every second house is for sale. Maybe not the same these days, but certainly in the old days that used to happen a lot. Actions for stage 3, we'll start to see inflationary pressure, which is great, given on the back that we're going to be coming off a very negative environment. If the government starts stimulating the economy, things start moving, that'll be great. And then we'll get to a point where the consumer confidence starts to increase on the back of that. And at that point, we will see that things will be getting back to a new normal, hopefully not too far from the current normal. So my team that I have around me, obviously I have a team of accountants. Separate to that, I have Rob Shears, who's my wealth manager, Michael Mankin, who's my mortgage broker, James and Kate, who are our financial advisors, and we have a legal team covering multiple different areas as and when we need. So ideally, we would like to have the chance to have a chat to you to see whether we can be a part of your trusted network moving forward.